Ever feel like your world is spinning, but you're the only one standing still? That was me, Liam. For 10 years, Sarah wasn't just my wife. She was my entire universe. We built a life, brick by brick, filled with laughter, whispered dreams, and the kind of comfortable silence that only comes with deep connection. Or so I thought. I was the dependable husband, the guy who made sure the bills were paid, the lawn was mowed, and her coffee was just the way she liked it every morning. I thought my quiet devotion was enough. I thought our love was an unshakable fortress. I was wrong. The cracks started small. A late night at the office that didn't feel right. A new, guarded way she held her phone. I brushed it off, telling myself I was being paranoid. Who was I to doubt Sarah, my radiant, ambitious Sarah? But the cracks grew into fissures. The laughter that once filled our home was replaced by a tense quiet. Her excuses became more elaborate, her distance more profound. The unease in my gut turned into a cold, hard knot of dread. I knew something was fundamentally broken, but I was terrified to find out what it was. The truth, when it came, wasn't a dramatic confrontation. It was a casual, cruel slip. She was on the phone, her back to me, laughing. Not her usual laugh, but a giddy, secretive one I hadn't heard in years. She was talking about a weekend trip, plans I knew nothing about. And then I heard his name, Mark. He was her colleague. Someone she'd mentioned was just a friend. The way she said his name, the way her voice softened. It was a gut punch. When she hung up and saw me, the color drained from her face. There was no need for accusations. The truth was written all over her. My world didn't just crack, it shattered. The first few days were a blur of raw, unfiltered pain. I confronted her, of course. My voice trembled with a mix of rage and heartbreak. I needed answers. I needed to understand how the woman I'd given my everything to could do this. Her response? It wasn't remorse. It wasn't tears. It was a cold, almost bored justification. She talked about needing excitement, about feeling stifled. She said Mark made her feel alive, that he understood her ambitions in a way I, with my simple, steady love, never could. And then she said the words that would echo in my mind for months. Honestly, Liam, she said, with a dismissive little laugh, your love is just too predictable. It's safe. It's boring. She laughed at my love, the love I had poured my soul into, the love that was the bedrock of my existence, was a joke to her. In that moment, something inside me just switched off. The pleading stopped. The anger receded, replaced by a vast, chilling emptiness. I looked at the woman in front of me and saw a complete stranger. I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I simply said, "Okay." That one word hung in the air, more powerful than any argument I could have made. I packed a bag with a strange, detached calm, the actions of my body disconnected from the storm in my soul. As I walked out the door of the home we had built together, she seemed confused, almost annoyed by my lack of drama. She probably expected a fight, tears, begging. She didn't get any of it. She got my silence, and that silence would become my loudest statement. I moved into a small, furnished apartment across town. The first few weeks were hell. Every morning I'd wake up expecting to see her, to smell coffee brewing. The silence was deafening, a constant reminder of what I'd lost. My friends and family rallied around me, offering advice, telling me to be angry, to fight for what was mine. But I couldn't. The fight had left me. All I had was this hollow quiet. I muted her number. I blocked her on social media. I didn't cut her out with anger, but with a surgeon's precise, emotionless cut. I started channeling all that shattered energy into myself. I hit the gym, not for revenge, but because the physical exhaustion helped quiet my mind. I threw myself into my work, a small graphic design business I'd always run on the side. Projects I'd put on the back burner were suddenly my entire focus. I worked late into the night. not to avoid the loneliness, but because for the first time in a long time, I was building something that was purely mine. My creativity, once just a hobby, became my lifeline. A few weeks into my new life, her first text came through on a new number. "Liam, this is ridiculous. We need to talk." I read it, and I deleted it. A few days later, a call. I let it go to voicemail. "Are you just going to ignore me forever?" This is childish. Her messages started to shift from annoyance to confusion, then to a strange sort of desperation. She wasn't getting the reaction she expected. Her new, exciting life with Mark wasn't supposed to be interrupted by my ghosting. Her world, I later learned, wasn't the fantasy she'd imagined. The thrill of the affair faded when it became a reality. The excitement was replaced with the mundane details of a real relationship. Mark, the exciting escape, turned out to have his own baggage, his own flaws. The life she had so carelessly thrown away, the comfortable home, the financial security, the unwavering support, suddenly seemed a lot more appealing from a distance. She had traded a solid foundation for a house of cards, and a slight breeze was blowing. Meanwhile, my world was slowly, painstakingly being rebuilt. My business started to take off. A design I did for a local startup went viral, and suddenly, my inbox was flooded with inquiries. I was working with clients I'd only dreamed of. I was making more money than I ever had, but more importantly, I was feeling a sense of purpose and validation that was entirely my own. I started going out with friends again, genuinely smiling, genuinely laughing. I wasn't just surviving, I was beginning to thrive. I was rediscovering the man I was before I became just Sarah's husband. The final call came on a Saturday morning. I was at my desk, sketching out a new logo, sunlight streaming through the window. I saw her name, and on an impulse, I answered. Her voice was different. The arrogance was gone, replaced by a shaky, pleading tone. "Liam, I miss you. I miss us. I made a terrible mistake. What we had, it wasn't boring. It was real. I was so stupid." She cried. She begged. She told me Mark was gone, that it was always me. I listened calmly without interruption. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel triumph. I felt a profound, quiet sadness for the person she had been, for the love we once had. When she finished, a long silence stretched between us. "Liam, please say something," she whispered. I took a deep breath. "Sarah," I said, and my voice was steady. "I wish you all the best. I really do, but my life is here now. I have to go. I have a deadline." And I gently hung up the phone. There was no grand revenge, no public shaming. The ultimate revenge was my success. It was my peace. It was rebuilding my life so completely that her absence was no longer a gaping wound, but simply a closed chapter. She didn't destroy me. She inadvertently liberated me. She laughed at my love, calling it predictable and boring. But in the end, my quiet, steady, predictable path led me to a place of happiness and fulfillment she could no longer reach. And her desperate, chaotic search for excitement left her with nothing but silence on the other end of the line. If you're going through something similar, know this: your healing is the most powerful statement you can make. Focus on you, rebuild your world, and let your happiness be your answer. Thanks for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, I'd appreciate it if you'd like this video and subscribe for more content. Take care of yourselves.